Well, here we are back in the boardroom again, and we've set our two teams an interesting challenge this time. Took after two youth groups at a local Baptist church. What was the church called again?
Kesgrave Baptist Church, Lord Sugar.
Yes, Kesgrave. Nick, how did the Trailblazers get on?
Well, to be frank, Lord Sugar, it was an absolute disaster. Pretty much everything which could have gone wrong, went wrong. Sometimes it was hard to tell the difference between the leaders and the children. They even managed to become the first group, ever, to be banned from Suffolk Ski Centre. And there's worse.
Come on, Nick, you must be exaggerating. Anyway, let's hear how the other group got on. Karen, how did the Ewoks get on?
I'm afraid it's a similar story. They managed to set fire to the kitchen while attempting to do some cooking, and, to be fair, Mr. Bean could have done a better job. Also, they managed to lose not one, but two children on a bowling alley trip.
Well, we better bring them in. Can you bring in the teams now? I set you a simple challenge of leading two youth groups for a few weeks. How hard can it be? Trailblazer team, who is your project leader?
Oh, that's me, Lord Sugar.
Nick here tells me your 4-year-old son could have done a better job. What do you have to say about this?
We had a superb result. We talked the talk, we walked the walk, got our arms around the challenge he gave us, gave it a good cuddle, put it to bed. We sucked the marrow out of it. We even thought outside the box. We were buzzing, we were brilliant. We ran up the flagpole, saluted it, and now we're enjoying the champagne.
Do you have any idea what he is talking about?
I have no idea, Lord Sugar.
You managed to be the first group ever to get banned from the Suffolk Ski Centre. Did you run that one up the flagpole and salute it?
Well, we had the odd minor hiccup, but it's really no problem. You know, the police were good about it. They let us go home after a couple of hours, and they said they'll be repairing the damage soon, and they're planning to reopen early next summer sometime.
Well, I hope the judge sees the same way about this. Helen, you're a part of the team. What do you think went well?
Oh, that's easy, Lord Sugar. We had a fantastic evening with the floating fish.
Floating fish?
Of course, it was a great idea, mine, of course. We filled these big inflatable fish with helium gas. The kids could use radio controllers to control them around the room. We had an amazing time. It was great fun. Right up to the...
Up to the what?
Well, up to the accident, Lord Sugar. Ben here got carried away with the helium.
No, it was fine, Lord Sugar. I just had to step in and take it over. You know, when you want a job done, you've got to do it yourself, haven't you? So I stepped in, took over. The only trouble was I had a bit of trouble just turning the helium off. Couldn't do it.
The whole room was filled with helium gas. It was an enormous canister.
So what happened exactly?
Well, it was fine, no one was hurt. They just started speaking higher and higher and higher and higher.
Yeah, everyone thought it was a great laugh. They really did. The doctors at the hospital even saw the funny side of it once they'd cleared the kids of the side effects.
Ed, what about you? What do you think the best evening was?
Well, we had a good trip to the challenge evening in Stowmarket, so there were some great games and the kids really enjoyed it.
Guess someone else organised this. Surely nothing went wrong with this.
Well,
Ask them about the journey back.
it would have been fine if our glorious leader hadn't insisted on taking a shortcut in our big minibus.
Well, to be fair, we were a bit late getting back because the event overran, of course. So I had this great idea of taking this little shortcut. It always works. I've done it loads of times before, but there was some mud there this time, and I can't think how the minibus got stuck. It must have been something wrong with the minibus.
It was midnight when the kids got home.
Oh, yeah, but the kids loved it. They had a great evening, especially when the firemen turned up. You remember that? You can't buy experience like that. It was brilliant. Shame they couldn't salvage the minibus, though. We did get a few quid from it from the scrapyard.
Never heard of such a disaster. Let's find out who's responsible. Helen and Ed, who do you think was responsible for this?
Our glorious leader.
Well, I think I've got my answer. Let's find out how the other team got on. Karen tells me this was no better. Martin, you were the project leader. What do you have to say for yourself?
Well, Lord Sugar, we took a very different approach to those jokers over there. For us, it was all about teamwork. As a great leader yourself, Lord Sugar, you know what it is to inspire the troops, to really motivate them, get the best out of them, beyond their capabilities. I feel I got the best out of my teammates here. I set a clear direction, delegated the work very effectively.
He sat in the study with his feet up while the others did all the work.
A sign of a true leader, Lord Sugar. You just need to stand back and watch things work like clockwork.
Doesn't sound like clockwork to me, more like Wreck-It Ralph. Now tell me about this business with the cooking.
Well, it's just as I said, Lord Sugar. Clear plan of action. We had all our objectives, roles and responsibilities, our mission statements sorted out. Ben had responsibility for the flapjacks. Rachel had responsibility for the cheese scones. I have absolute confidence that our plan was executed to perfection. As far as I know, that's what's happened. You know what they say? Fail to plan, plan to fail.
You managed to set the kitchen on fire.
No, I'm sure your information can't quite be It was on fire? What? How many fire engines? Any casualties? What were you up to?
How on earth can you not notice? Good job the fire brigade got there quickly.
Well, Lord Sugar, true leaders like you and me, we can't get distracted by minor details. We have to focus on the big picture. We must be distracted by things like fire engines.
Okay, tell me about this business with the 10-pin bowling trip. Ben, why don't you tell me about this?
Yes, Lord Sugar. Well, we organised a trip to the bowling alley at Martlesham, but Martin over here, he insisted on a 5-point plan and a full risk assessment. The kids had a great time though, and the time flew by, and before we knew it, the parents were there to collect the kids.
We even had a Gantt chart, Lord Sugar.
To collect most of the kids, Lord Sugar, they'd lost 2 of them.
I'm sure your information can't be Well, they did lose them? What, they were found in play days? How many police cars? Parents? Well, Lord Sugar, you know what kids are like. No respect at all for a solid plan. What would Lord Coe have done if he had to organise the Olympics with kids?
Well, he were asked to run a kids club, and it's fairly traditional for a kids club to have kids.
It took 2 hours for the police to find the missing children. Their parents were furious.
I can imagine. Rachel, you were part of this motley crew. Anything you think went well?
Well, the disco evening was good. The kids enjoyed this. It was, however, a little on the loud side.
No, Lord Sugar, it was planned to perfection. You should have seen the organisation. I thought we'd do things properly, not like a primary school disco.
Instead of just playing some music, Martin insisted on getting the sound and lighting equipment from V Festival. 100 megawatts of power in a small room. Although the kids did love it, even if most of them couldn't hear anything for the next week, the whole street ended up joining in. They weren't quite so enthusiastic.
People from every house in Cambridge Road were outside the church.
No. They were just keen to join in. You could see them outside jumping up and down with their fists in the air, shouting. We even had to call out the police to control the crowds. It was an absolute masterpiece of organisation.
They called out the police to complain.
A formal complaint? I wonder what that court summons was about. Perhaps there was just some slight misunderstanding, Lord Sugar.
A slight misunderstanding. The headline in the local paper was Out of Control Church Ruins Quiet Neighbourhood. Ben and Rachel, what do you think of Martin's project leadership?
Well, if you like paperwork and risk assessments, then yeah, he's a great leader. But have you ever seen a leader who doesn't realise the building is on fire, doesn't realise he's lost 2 children, or he doesn't know that the whole of Ipswich can hear his music? He's about as useful as a chocolate teapot.
Well, I've heard quite enough. There's no doubt about it. I've never heard of such incompetent, half-witted, clueless numbskulls in my entire life. You're both fired.